Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Boom. There we go. There we go. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom to the fam. See, I died in the house. Shalom to you. Hey, brother Byron. Shalom to you, my brother. Shalom, shalom. Let's get a few minutes, man, to get this thing rolling so we can chop it up a taste. We haven't been able to connect in a minute. I wonder why. I wonder why. Just give me a second, y'all. I'm still trying to set up a couple of things. As you tap dancing your way up in here, y'all, hit the like button for me. Hit that like button, man. Wipe your feet. Wipe your feet. Show some respect. Show some honor. Why don't you? All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Why you shy? If I'm coming in clear, man, give me a 7 in the chat. 7 in the chat. Do your brother a solid, man. Let me know if I'm coming in clear. It don't take, well, I guess I gotta do it myself. All right. How's the Elkanah? Shalom. Shalom, family. The water. The water. All right. I was getting ready to say, you know what? I'm jack of all trades then, man. I gotta do it myself. Do it myself. All right. Hopefully everybody's well, man. Kohaf, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, brother. You know what? You know what? You know where? You know what time it is. Kohaf, I want to let you know. I've been watching a couple of these other YouTube uh, influencers or whatever, and they say that you got to let after the first 5 minutes. They say don't cuss, don't do nothing. To impact what could be the flagging of your channel or whatever the case may be. I don't think it matters. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours in with me, they on me. But nonetheless, I'm gonna get that 5 minute break, and then we'll talk a little taste. We'll talk a little taste, man. We'll play catch up because they for sure. Hold on, y'all. They for sure been messing with your boy, messing with your brother. All praises, my sister. The water to the house of Elkanah. Um, okay, so that one's good. Yeah, I expect a light crowd today, mainly because of, uh, like you said, Koaf, with notification. Let's leave that up there. Somebody else is going to probably have the same testimony. The shadow banning of the channel is definitely in full effect. Um, YouTube has found its way to, this particular channel, the IQ channel, I'm just coming off suspension. They flagged the channel a couple of weeks ago, shut me down. Um, I think what it was is what was it? I mean, I'm trying to catch up with these things, man. I'm trying to catch up with how many times. For sure, they archived the video as usual from like last year sometime and said that you guessed it, I broke community guidelines talking about the pandemic. Um, didn't say what I said. Wouldn't clarify. Took the video down so I couldn't even review it to find out what I said. Pretty much just threw me in a black hole and said, "Man, hopefully you can find your way to the light," which is what they typically do. Um, so this channel is on its second strike, which means one more strike and they're going to remove this channel. So your brother's gonna have to play nice and be a good little slave to the system up until I believe March 1st. I believe. Well, hold on. I think I got the strike the end of December. Uh, January, February, March. Yeah, at least till March. So 90 days. Got to play nice. You may not see as many DSTMs on here just for the fact that, you know, they're watching. However, I'll be giving brothers and sisters information on backups. I told y'all before to subscribe to the backup channels because they're pretty much trying to get rid of the MOTC channel. Also, the congregation channel also has been suspended. So concurrently, we have both channels suspended. They put yellow tape over my mouth and the brother's mouth at MOTC. So we can't, say nothing on YouTube for a couple of weeks. So the MOTC channel, main channel, is down. That one will be down for at least another week or so. That one also was on the second strike. So the targeting of your brothers over here is in full effect, and is a good chance, man. They're gonna try to get rid of us. They're gonna try to get rid of us. So um, I'm gonna put the links to the backup channels in the description box after this video is concluded. Be sure to subscribe to those channels because we may have to, pull an underground railroad and get up out of here if they kick us out. Because even if I play fair and do all the things Master say, that doesn't stop them from archiving old videos and just saying, "Here, you said this on here." Don't prove nothing. Just say it. And then when I go to try to appeal, it's always, "Oh, we reviewed your appeal, and we're going to uphold your suspension." So, yeah, all praises, brother Byron. All praises, man. So I'm gonna put you know what? Let me see if I can put it in now. Let me see. Hold on, because I don't want to. I don't want to deter away, but let me see. Shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it on the back end. I'm gonna have to do it on the back end, I believe. But yeah, y'all. We're in the crosshairs of the beast, man. We're in the crosshairs of the beast, so they definitely trying to get rid of us. Like my brother said, Koaf acknowledged and said, notifications are becoming an issue. A few brothers and sisters that hit me with that on a number of occasions where they're unsubscribing people, notifications getting turned off, unable to comment. It's a lot of folly going on. A lot of folly going on, man. But you know what? That means that we're knocking on the beast of the door, man, and he's hiding. He's hiding behind the walls. He's on his ring saying, "Get out, leave me alone. Stop it. I'm gonna call the police." So, he don't like having his buttons pushed, man. But hey, you know what? That's why the Lord gave us fingers, man. I'm pushing them. I'm pushing. All right. Hopefully everybody's well, man, on the Shabbat, man. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm like I said, I gotta play nice. So bear with me if you're don't get the typical fire, but you're gonna get some fire. We're gonna cook today, but got to get it right, man. So yeah, like I said, expecting a small gathering today because of the powers that be trying to shut down the information, but the water all y'all that's still locking in doing what we got to do. All right. So let me share my screen, man. You see the titling is Russia fighting NATO now. Well, how long have we been talking about that? How long has that been at the forefront of the World War III discussions that I've been bringing out? It's been a little while now. Now all of a sudden, Russian advisors are saying, "Yeah, this is what's happening." We went over what was the last weekend, I believe, when I was able to do DSTM. I believe I got one off. That the Ukrainian president and the government is saying that they are censoring and forwarding all stories has to be filtered through them before it comes out. So they're catering to fake news, if you will. You know, so let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. All right. Let me share my screen. Present here. Boom. All right. So we know what time it is. Wars, rumors of wars is still kicking in. I know I said, hey, you know what? It seems like it's usually like not too much progress is happening over there. It's wintertime. You ain't going to expect too much happening. However, every time I say that, something goes down that I have to report on and acknowledge to the fam, hey, this thing is still cooking heavy. And now the numbers are becoming so erratic as far as the truth. Russia, they have no choice, in a number of different media outlets, they have no choice now but to acknowledge that Russia actually is making headway and Ukraine is on the retreat and they jacked up right now. So this is why we're seeing stories about the U.S. doubling down and sending more billions of dollars in tanks and everything else over there to them. I believe Germany was supposed to send some tanks, but France stepped in and said we'll send them. The thing is that they're sending old tech to them, with some of these things, and some of these military experts are saying like some of the stuff that they getting pretty much is like mothball riddled tank stowaways that the US really isn't utilizing anymore. Stuff they was using back in the Gulf War and stuff like that. They're sending them over there. So they're not really going to be too effective with what they're fighting against with Russia. So check this out. So it says Russia's now fighting NATO in Ukraine, top Putin ally says. So now if one of Putin's allies saying it, of course they're going to say, well, that's fake news. Can't trust it. It's Russian disinformation. I mean, that's kind of played out by now. You keep saying the same old things. Oh, it's Russian disinformation, Russian hacking, Russian. Eventually, it's like, come on now. You didn't wore that out. At some point in time, there's got to be some underlying truth right there. If you're looking deep enough, if you're searching for it, if you really want to know the truth, you filter out the noise and you push it out the way and say, well, really, what's going on? Oh, NATO is there. U.S. troops are there. Special ops from the UK are there. You know, so now one of Putin's allies come out and they say we're fighting NATO out there. Essentially, that means World War III has already started. Is it on a grand scale? Has it been officially announced by the rest of the talking head fake news media? No, they're not going to put it out there right now. Not with the rest of the world being in shambles like it is right now, economically, in terms of famine, in terms of disasters. They can't afford to put that out there right now. People will lose their damn minds. So they're not going to push the panic button out there and confirm what's already been understood. It's just like with the economy. What they talking about? Oh, are we in a recession? Not in a recession. According to all the economic metrics and what a recession means, we've been in recession since last year. And there's still headlines talking about, oh, we might have a mild recession in 2023. We're already in one. The dollar is declining, inflation is up, food prices, gas prices, natural energy prices, everything is up. World banks, Swiss banks is losing billions of dollars. A number of billion-dollar companies laying off, shutting down. We'll get to it. We'll get to see. I'm jumping the gun. I'm jumping the gun. See what happens when you shut me up for a couple of weeks, man. Now I got to get busy. All right, so let's look at this, man. One of President Vladimir Putin's closest allies said on Tuesday that Moscow was now fighting the U.S.-led NATO military alliance in Ukraine, and that the West was trying to wipe Russia from the political map of the world. The West. So, like we talked about before, anytime you want to find out where the evil is, what's going on, let's go there. Let's go there in the scriptures. Anytime you're worried about evil, it's always rooted in money. Somebody's concerned about some money. Somebody's filtering money. Somebody desires and covets money more than the Most High. Esau is always classically like that. So look at it. 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's not the money, it's not the fiat, it's not the paper, it's not the gold, it's not the silver that's evil. The fact that one may have it and may have it in abundance, okay, cool. But the fact that one loves it and covets after it, that's when the problems arise. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So anytime you want to know where evil is, as the old saying goes, follow the money. As we're seeing the West constantly funding this war, sending more weapons, sending more money, sending more supplies, more ammo. They're the ones that's out here perpetuating this war by continually funneling funds to the Ukrainians. So as Slow Biden and his cronies out there sending money is only advocating for more evil. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So this is why you're seeing some of the headlines that we're reading about. Um, I don't think I have it in here right now, but I'm gonna let me see if I can find that article. Yeah, we'll come back to that. Come back to that because I didn't put it on here. Okay, so the narrative is that the West is trying to wipe Russia off from the political map of the world. We know that that's the case because who's the biggest threat to America? Russia, outside of China, right? But they're working in cahoots. They got to team up against this great whore and great beast. Individually, they're not going to be able to take America. That's why even the scriptures, and we've talked about it a number of times, especially in Revelation, the 17th chapter, about how the 10 horns are going to hate the whore and they're going to come against it, right? They're going to have to team up against this witch of a country. I was about to say the other word. They're going to team up against her. All right. So look at this. It says Putin cast the war in Ukraine as an existential battle with an aggressive and arrogant West, and has said that Russia will use all available means to protect itself and its people against any aggressor. So as we see in the political landscape, Ukraine is kind of being used as a puppet to soften Russia, deplete some of their ammo, deplete some of their supplies, deplete some of their land. So that when the actual full-blown World War III kicks off, America will figure they have an advantage because they've already been in a war with Ukraine for maybe 1-2 years. We're already on the closing in on the anniversary of a year with the this particular war with NATO and with Ukraine and Russia. Next month will be a year. So imagine if this thing drags on for another year, 2 years, whatever. By the time, whenever the Most High deems is a green light for World War III, America's going to figure, oh, Russia's already wore out. It's easy prey. But don't forget, their allied nations are going to be joining in helping as well, according to Ezekiel 38. Okay, that's when we're getting full blown war. Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev is seen by diplomats as one of the major hardline influences on Putin, who has promised victory in Ukraine despite a series of battlefield setbacks. The events in Ukraine are not a clash between Moscow and Kiev. This is a military confrontation between Russia and NATO, and above all, the United States and Britain. So the last of the seven horns, Great Britain, and the little horn that comes up out of there is America. According to prophecy, this is how we know that the Bible is talking about these things, right? When you look at the seven horns, let's go there real quick. Where's my thing? Let's go there. Revelation, I think it's Revelation 12. And that one want to go? Yeah. So let's look here. All right. And we ain't gonna do a whole Revelation 12 breakdown, but we'll go through at least the first three verses. It says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." Well, who's the woman? The woman is talking about Israel. How do we know that? Let's precept. Let me open up one more. Jeremiah 6 and 2. It says, "I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." Right? So, and it says, now on the head of that woman would be 12 stars. So where do we understand and know that the 12 stars is coming from? Let's look at Genesis 37. Genesis 37. And we're going to read verse 5, and then we'll drop down and we'll read verse 9. Genesis 37 and 5 says, "And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more." So if you remember this story, Joseph had a dream, and he's talking about that he's seen 12 stars, he's seen the sun and the moon. Well, let's drop down. I don't want to jump over here. Let's drop down. Read verse 9. Okay. And it says, "And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it." I ain't gonna skip it. Let me just be real. "And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you." I'm reading verse 6. "This dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheep." So Joseph is breaking down his dream to his brothers, and he's basically telling them, I had a dream that I was standing up and you guys was bowing down to me. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. So obviously, him being the young brother, they was like, "What the heck do you mean that we're gonna be bowing down to you, man? You're out of control. You vain. You tripping. We hate you." And that's a strong word to say, because we know that the scriptures say, if a man have hatred in his heart for his brother, you can't love the Most High. So the brothers was all going off when they was dealing in this particular spirit, right? And that's what led them into leaving him in the ditch, coming back saying that they lost him. He was going to get put to death. He got put to death. They brought back the bloody coat. The Midianites came, bailed him out, sold him to the Egyptians. So they had enough hatred in their heart for their brother that they sold him out because of this dream and because of the favor that he was receiving. He had that coat of many colors. They was mad that he got the garment from Jacob. Now let's read verse 9. It says, "And he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me." Well, why they say 12 in chapter 12 and verse 1? Because he would be considered the 12th. We're talking about the stars, right? And that's why he was talking about his brothers. There's 11 brothers were going to be looked at as stars. So when we go back over to Genesis, right? Revelation. This is where you get. Hold on, let me see one more. Um, let me see, Job. Is that the one? I think that's the one I want, but just in case. Mm, yeah. So when we read back over here in Revelation 12 and 1, it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet." Well, the sun and the moon is representing wisdom and understanding. All right. And this is what is supporting the children of Israel. Remember, even in the scriptures in Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation." All those three elements work together, right? Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Now, these things are being talked about, sun and the moon. Well, let's look at Ecclesiastes 8. And it says, "Who is this wise man? And who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine." So that's what we're talking about with the representation of light with the sun and the moon. It says wisdom makes his face shine. So that's a representation of wisdom. Okay. And the boldness of his face shall be changed. Now let's jump back over to Job, 31. Oops. I think I want 26. Verse 26 of Job 31st chapter. It says, "If I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness." So it's just showing you that the light, the representation of wisdom, understanding, that's what was supporting this woman, right? So getting back over to Revelation 12, and it says, "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered," right? So this is now transferring into understanding about Yahweh Shai. This is Mary delivering Yahweh Shai. Matthew 1:21, Matthew 11. So I said I wasn't going to do a whole breakdown, but just to get through these couple chapters, you can't go without. Um, you can't go through without going through some precepts. So, verse 12, Matthew 11 and 12, it says, "And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violence shall take it by force." Well, the kingdom of heaven was talking about the kingdom on earth, right? And they were talking about how it was going to be violently taken away. There was going to be a shift in power. So Matthew 1, this is when the Romans were seeking out to kill Yahweh Shai. And she shall, Matthew 1:21, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shai, for he shall save his people from their sins. So when we go back over here, and it says, "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered." This is talking about the birth of Yahweh Shai. This is talking about the persecution that was going to be happening, because we know that an edict was put out by Herod to kill Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, "Now when Yahweh Shai was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where a Mashiach should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet." So obviously, as you continue reading down, we know that the hit was put out on the firstborn being given by Herod to kill Christ. So now going back over here, are we back at Revelation 12? Yeah, Revelation 12. All right, verse 3. It says, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon." So we know that the red dragon is the so-called white man. Genesis 25. It's the only time that we're really seeing red being descriptively used as a well, what would you call it? A noun, pronoun, or something like that to describe a person. No other birth of a being in the scriptures was described at birth outside of Esau. And why did it say it was red? And don't talk about, well, David was ruddy. Those are two different words being used. Ruddy and red are two different. They ain't say David was red. It said David was ruddy. So this same red dragon is representations of kingdoms, rulers. Okay. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So, even when you're looking at the 7 heads, you're talking about Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, and out of Great Britain comes America. We went the long way to substantiate this last line right here. Oops. This last line right here, where it says that Russia's at war with NATO and above all the United States and Great Britain. So this is why we know and understand that the prophecies of these scriptures are true, because the 7 the 7 heads, again, are the 7 kingdoms of rulership that the so-called white man has established since 331, 333 BC under the Greeks. The Greeks started ruling. That's when Job 9:24 came into effect. We talk about it all the time during the Feast of Dedication, during the Feast of Nicanor, Feast of Memorial of Simon, dealing with the Hellenization of our people, converting and following after Greek customs and ways and taking on their ways and their natures and their cultures. It's all relevant. It's all pertinent in regards to when the so-called white man came into power. So these 7 heads are the complete establishment of the white man's kingdom of rulerships throughout history, beginning again with the Greeks, then the Romans, then the Spanish, then the French, then the Germans, then the Russians, then Great Britain. And out of Great Britain comes America. This is the one that they call it the little horn. In Daniel 7 and 8. Okay. And it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes of a man, and speaking great things. So again, excuse me, this is the so-called white man coming up in rulership, and this little horn that came up out of that last kingdom being the Romans. And from the Rome came this little horn. So this is why you see the architecture. This is why you see the governmental structure and the edicts and the laws are following after the ways of their predecessors of Rome, right? So this is where you see all of these things. All right. So that's a whole nother thing to get in Daniel 7, but that's a long way of seeing why these two are prominent, because these are the last of the horns. These are the last of the heads of the power of the so-called white man. All right. Now let's move on. 4 submarines and 12 warships, hypersonic missiles, nuke bombers. Russian military set for a massive boost in 2023. So this is why we're seeing Russia is turning up the heat right now. They knew that the weather conditions and everything else was not going to be favorable for the wasn't going to be favorable for the Ukrainians. So now they're getting ready to put it on. See, look at this. You notice they not publicizing these particular stories too crazy. Look who's putting these out. Sky News, I-24. But where's CNN at? Where's CNBC? Where's ABC News at? Where's MSNBC? Are they not promoting this? Russia claims killed over 600 Ukrainian troops in a retaliatory strike in Kramatorsk. Remember that last time they said that they launched 100 and some odd missiles and nobody died, like 6 people got injured, according to Ukrainian sources. Remember we talked about that, and we was like, come on now. You're trying to tell me that a sophisticated army, like the Russians, can launch hundreds of missiles and nobody died? Now they have no choice because they're picking up bodies all over the damn place that they have to submit and say, you know what, we can't cover this one up. We can't lie about this one. Look. Okay, the BBC is a a fairly popular news source in Great Britain, in the UK. Times of Israel. Look at it. Reuters, of course, coming from America. No sign of casualties after Russia claims revenge attack. I think Reuters is owned by I can't even say. I can't even say because I don't want to be wrong. But it's an American based, system. They're the ones that come out and say nothing, nobody died. This just claims, right? Nobody in mainstream is gonna talk about it. Unbelievable. So now Russia's turning it up. 4 subs, 12 warships, hypersonic missiles, nuke bombers, the whole nine. They're ready to really turn it up in 2023. We've been saying this since last year. Hey, 2023 is really gonna be a telling year for the coming future. I don't know what everybody else is worried about, talking about, whatever. But if you're keeping your eyes on the prize and paying attention, watching and praying as Yahweh instructed us to, then we'll be moving in the spirit and we see what's going on in the earth right now. And we'll be making preparation spiritually, mentally, physically, growing, increasing our relationship with the Most High and Yahweh Shai, because it's going to be an interesting year, to say the least. And it seems like I've said that every year since the pandemic and everything else popping up. Things continually escalating and moving in a fashion to where it's like, hold on, this is going on too, this too. Now we're doing this. Now this is unprecedented. Oh, this is the first time this has ever happened. Oh, no, you can't even keep up now. So it says as more military assistance is pledged to Ukraine by its allies in the West, the Russian military's top brass has announced plans to significantly bolster its military in 2023 by inducting top-of-the-line military hardware. When intense combat unfolds in the Ukraine of East, Slovakia. When intense combat unfolds in the east of Ukraine, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu vowed on January 10th to expand the country's weaponry and advance aviation technology and increase drone production. So Russia's advanced. They've taken more territory from Ukraine. Ukraine is actually bombed and hit areas that are considered Russian territory, which allows now the Russians to be on the defense, and now they can actually start utilizing some of these weapons that they've been told through military rules that they can't use. So now they're getting ready to rain fire on Ukraine and NATO allies if they dare intervene. Remember, we did that. I showed y'all the report that the Ukrainians was over there getting ready for a nuke attack, and they were telling everybody to hit their bunkers, get their water, get their radios, bug out bags, and the whole nine. Let's move on. Iran to station warships in the Panama Canal. So now Iran is moving in closer to American soil. What are they up to? Iran's Navy is set to station warships for the first time. I like that. First time. That means that we're embarking on history. Something's changing. Iran's Navy is set to station warships for the first time in the Panama Canal, a critical trade route in America's backyard that has never before seen an Iranian military presence. Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, the commander of Iran's Navy, said on Wednesday that his forces will establish a presence in the Panama Canal later this year, marking the first time Iran's military has entered the Pacific Ocean. First time they entered the Pacific Ocean. And here they are trying to come over in the backyard of America. This is still part of the beast, right? Central, what? America, South America, North America. This is all the Americas. This is all Babylon. And they're coming over. Remember last year we talked about how Russia and China were doing military drills in Venezuela. They still got allies in Cuba. They're getting a little closer. Now you can see why New York was talking about doing PSAs and infomercials about how to prepare for a nuclear attack. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon. The Lord knows. But when you see the pieces on the puzzle of the chessboard of the world stage being moved around, you got to take notice and say, what's going on? Reading on, it says Iran in recent years has placed a greater focus on moving its military into Latin American territories as it strengthens relations with anti-American dictators in the region, most notably Venezuela. Venezuela's always been, the sanctions being laid on them by America, the demonizing that they did with Cesar Chavez and the rest of the leadership of Venezuela. Venezuela's always had middle fingers to America through the governmental eyes. And guess who comes over and says, hey, we got you? Russia goes, sends them some money. They make friends. China sends them money, make friends. Iran now, making friends. Let me continue on. So it says Iran vessels have docked more frequently in Venezuela as Tehran's hardline regime seeks to prop up dictator Nicolas Maduro. These moves are meant to provoke the United States. Let me read that again. Are meant to provoke the United States and signal that Tehran has the ability to station its military apparatus as stone's throw from U.S. territory. They're trying to poke at this hoe. The Great Horror, man, they're trying to get her to react. They're trying to shake up America. You understand? So that's even more closer to home as far as war is concerned. And remember that Russian sub that went missing, they still ain't found that. They don't know where that thing is at. And it's nuclear capable. So let's all keep all these things in memory. Let's move on. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Slow Biden. I know everybody has seen this. At it again. Could this be the end of slow Biden? I've always said I doubt he's going to make his 4-year term. Whether he falls ill, whether he's found mentally incapable, or the Biden crime family dirt finally catches up with him. Remember, this guy's been a politician for over 45 years, man. He knows the game in and out. His relationships are impeccable. He's been involved in all kind of corruption. I mean, I only understand how they allowed him to even be a political candidate for vice president, let alone president. When he ran for president in '88, and the dude got busted for plagiarizing one of his speeches using JFK. Using JFK words from JFK speeches, and that's what made him fall out because he got busted. Now I said that. Now I got to prove it. See, look at this. Joe Biden, in 1988 presidential run, doomed by plagiarism scandal. This dude's a straight fraud. Straight fraud. No. Biden admits plagiarism in school, but it was not malevolent. Get out of here, man. This is like him talking about, those top secret classified files found at his home. and other places. I didn't even know they were there. I'm just as shocked as you. And then go and send out Karine Jean Pierre, the talking head with the damn basket weave on her head, to go and try to clean it up for him. It's ridiculous. So we see what happened with him. Biden political future clouded by classified document probe. Virtually everything was going right for President Slow Biden as he opened the year. Really? Everything was going right. Huh? Economy in shambles. He's in the midst of a war. He's still getting lost on stage. His wife just had to have procedures for skin cancer or something like that. Everything's going right, huh? Food prices is up. Shelves is empty in many places. It's all going great, huh? You lost the House seat to the Republicans, and now they on his head. Everything's going great. You see how they throwing these goofy headlines, still trying to prop him up. His approval ratings were ticking up. Inflation was slowing. Really? Have y'all noticed inflation slowing? They're talking about it's at 6.5% right now. But hey, the prices ain't going down. Prices ain't going down. Layoffs are still going down, which is contributing to the inflation because now less people have more money. But that's creating more economic hardship for people. What are you talking about? Gas is going back up. This month, my gas bill was as high as it's ever been. They're talking about everything's on the upswing. That's how they paint these fake pictures, man. And as Democrats united, they just said that the debt ceiling for America is about to be exceeded come next week. And they got to make major adjustments in order to save the damn economy. We'll talk about that later. But everything's going great. Up until, oops, Slow Biden gets caught. And as Democrats united behind his likely re-election campaign, I mean, the dude's going to be what? 82, 83 by the time 2024 kicks around? You think he's got it in him to last until he's damn near 88, 89 years old? Knock it off. Ain't nobody looking for Slow Biden in no 2024. Republicans were at war with themselves after a disappointing midterm season. But on Thursday, Biden's political outlook veered into a more uncertain territory after Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate the Democratic president's handling of classified documents. Democrats publicly and privately conceded that the stunning development was at best an unwelcome distraction in an inopportune time, and that muddles the case against Donald Trump. The Republican former president is facing a special counsel of his own and is under federal criminal investigation for his handling of classified documents and other potential transgressions. So that's why it's two wings of the same bird. You understand what I'm saying? Trump gets busted. He got files galore at his Mar-a-Lago palace. But they raided him. FBI came, stormed down, kicked the doors down, tore the place up, got everything, and said, look at him. And then as soon as the Republicans get into office, they said, oh, no, we're going to get Slow Biden because we know he's doing the same thing. Boom. But there's no FBI raid. There's no that. Oh, guess what we found? And they said these documents were since he was vice president under Obama. So he been holding on to classified documents since the Obama campaign. You understand? Lord knows what he's got. Sirach 33. And we'll read verse 2. It says, a wise man hateth not the law, but he that is an hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm. This is why we're seeing Slow Biden all over the place. Ship in a storm, man. He's rocking to and fro, man. He's getting motion sickness. He's hiding underneath of the gallows, man. He don't want to. This is why he's all over, because he's a hypocrite. He's lied on multiple occasions. Now they were burying Trump about. They said, man, one of the documents that they found was at the highest level of classification, and he got him stashed in the garage next to his Corvette. I mean, come on. This is why he's like a ship in a storm, man. He's all over the damn place. So let's see what comes of that. Let alone they still got the investigation going on with his son and the laptop, and they're showing that they had connected bank accounts. They was getting millions of dollars from the Chinese, from the Russians, from the Ukrainians, all the big players now in this war that they're creating and having creating distractions so that they don't get caught. They was getting funding from these outside influencers that they was not supposed to be getting. Slow Biden was getting broke off money, wired money into his accounts and all of that, man, using code names, the big man. You understand? And then the FBI got busted talking about how they was trying to, squash the story and telling everybody this was Russian disinfo, and told Facebook uh censor anybody that's talking about this. Elon Musk paid $40 billion just to get this information all through Twitter, all the censorship that they was doing on Twitter, how they was shutting down political opponents, anybody that had a voice, they were suspending accounts and the whole nine, all in the name of slow Biden and his political influence and the Democratic Party. Now all of this is coming out. The bigger question is what's going to get done about it? Is this going to be the ultimate proof that the system is corrupt, that black folks and activists and the Israelites in particular have been talking about for decades now, that America is under Satan's authority? There is no change in this place. It has to be purged. The righteous, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, have to be put in place in rulership over the world in order for there to be peace and righteousness throughout the earth. You're not going to get it through voting. You're not going to get it through the political means and the systematic ways that so-called white men have set up. It's not going to happen. So what do we have to do? You got to go ahead and concede that it's over. Everything, the top's been blown off the lid. I mean, the lid's been blown off the top. Let's see if they act on all of this, or are they just going to expose themselves as being the devil? Either way, the scriptures say, man, the man of perdition is going to be revealed, so we win either way. Let's continue on. Oh, Biden angers both left and right with new immigration policy. Well, let's see what he's up to. The reviews were in and they were harsh. President Biden's plan to provide, quote, parole to some asylum seekers, critics said, was an abdication of executive responsibility and an affront to American ideals. So, you hear and we see the whole crisis, got the border, how everything's broken down, Title 42, they millions of, Northern Kingdom was coming through. And it took over El Paso. I think it's El Paso or one of them border towns in Texas. They're all over the place, man. The Haitians is running wild. Everybody's in here. Esau's clutching their guns and, mad as hell that Israel is coming in the house. Right? Can you imagine if you're thinking of back to Exodus in the first chapter? Oh, Now we know how this goes. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob. Now think of this in the spirit as well. So all these tribes is coming to Egypt, coming to bondage. Spiritual Egypt, according to Revelation 11:8, is America. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So Joseph being the head of the 10 tribes or the northern kingdom, they were already here. Remember 722 BC, we talked about it in the 10 tribe. Proof that the Native Americans and Hispanics are Israel. Who are the 10 tribes today? I did a 2-part lesson on that. How they was already here. right? And the rest of the tribes that they come. So essentially, Joseph represented the northern kingdom coming over here already, and the southern joining them up. And Joseph died and all his brethren and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. And that's what America and modern day Egypt right now is mad about. Being filled with them, so-called white men, they're running around talking about, man, there's more of them, less of us. They're taking all the jobs, they everywhere, white endangerment with their seed line. They don't want to see Israel coming over here like that, because they know the Israelites is over here waiting for itching ears, ready to hear the truth and to wake up. And that means more of the children of Israel, more of the possible elect being woken up, and the sealing of the deal for this place. So they like, man, keep them out of here. We don't want them in here. So look at this. But Slow Biden think he's slick. Only there was a twist to the usual Washington partisanship. This time, the criticism was not coming from the president's entrenched conservative opposition. President Biden announced last week that up to 30,000 asylum seekers a month, 30,000 a month, from 4 nations, Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti, could be granted, quote, parole to live and work in the United States for 2 years. Now, do the math. It's 2023. When's the next election? Oh, 2024, which means they can work all the way up through to 2025. Now, that means they've been given parole. And I guarantee you, if they're working, they will be given the right to vote. So 30,000 Venezuelan, Cuban, Nicaraguans, Haitians, they're going to be praising Slow Biden and the Democrats for letting them in to make a living so they can send money back to their said countries. And they saying on these particular stipulations, you can live here, you can work here, and guess what? You can vote. You like how things are being done here? You like how we let you in here? You like how we're paying you slave wages, but it's more than what you've been making back home? Oh, yeah. You like McDonald's? How's that KFC? You dig what I'm saying? And now they've got a whole new horde of voters that's going to keep them in power post 2024. He ain't slick. He is not slick. Uh, Slack. So, Sirach 13:4 says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. So is there ever anything free? Is there any reason why that the so-called white man will actually care for the well-being of the Nicaraguans, the Venezuelans, the Haitians? Essentially, we're talking Israel, if he doesn't have nothing to gain from it. If he doesn't have nothing to gain from it, man. I don't want to hear about the multi-million-dollar athletes, the rappers and entertainers that's making millions of dollars. Imagine what they're making. Dr. Dre just sold his I'm not gonna say his catalog, but he sold some of his musical rights for $200 million. Hold on. Let's look at it. And you thinking, oh man, great, black man black man got his money. If they can buy it for $200 million, how much do you think that they're going to make off of that $200 million? They just were able to shell out $200 million and say, here, Dr. Dre, we're going to take a loss because we appreciate your art. We appreciate your talent. We appreciate everything that you brought to the music game. Here, just take this. It's on us. No. This is just an example of if he have need of thee, he's going to use you. He's not paying $200 million if he can't at least double or triple that. Dr. Dre reaching deal to sell music catalog for over $200 million. And him and his GMO small hat partner, Jimmy Iovine, they went and put millions of dollars into USC before he finally went and put some money into Compton High. People was wondering, like, what, man, it's about time. I mean, he's probably like a 40-year alumni from that year. Been sitting on millions and damn near billions of dollars. And finally in when was it? A year or two ago, he finally gave some money to his old high school. Yeah. So, not mad. I mean, at least he did it, but damn, it took a while. Donates $10 million to New Compton High School campus. All right. That was May of 2022. And you know that ain't all his money. You know, he probably didn't gathered up some money from some of his little Edomite counterparts with a white guilt. They all looking for tax write-offs. But nonetheless, he didn't get some money over there. But if they bought his catalog for $200 million, how much you think they're gonna stand to make off of it? That's when you see when the so-called white man says if thou be for his property, he's gonna use thee. I mean, how many lives have been destroyed? How many drug addicts have been created from the Chronic album, Chronic 2010, NWA with gang banging, dope selling, prostitution, brothers riding around, going out on missions, listening to their music. How many brothers? I remember being young, probably like 12, 13, something like that. And we was hanging out on the block. And one of my older, partners at the time had the radio. You know, this is back in the 80s when you bumping, you got the boom box out, kicking it out on the street. And guess what he's playing? F the police. Do you know that the police rolled by, stopped, jumped out, hemmed us all up, took the radio, slammed it on the ground, busted his radio, and then took off. Thanks, Dr. Dre. If that be for his property, he'll be using it. So the destruction that could have came from that music and came from that era, that culture, and the whole nine, and that was all profiteering by the so-called white man. I mean, he highlighted the riots in 1992 in that Chronic album and all of that. I mean, he even had a song called "Express Yourself." He said he don't smoke weed, but then comes out and has a whole album talking about the Chronic. Who made him do that? But now he gets 200 million. Okay, cool. But know the games that our enemy plays. This is why Slow Biden saying, "Oh yeah, the asylum seekers, come on over. We're bringing 30,000 a month under the conditions that you come into servitude." And I guarantee you, somewhere along them lines, they're going to be given the right to vote. If thou be for his property, he's going to use you. If you have nothing, he'll forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. So if there's anything that he can benefit off of, he will tolerate. He'll tolerate being around Jake. He'll tolerate doing business deals with you until he can make you bear, and he's not going to be sorry for it. When you broke, busted, and disgusted, and you all jacked up, when you got all these athletes, man, filing for bankruptcy, ending up broke, ending up strung out, ending all jacked up, and went in divorce settlements and everything else, He's not going to be sorry for it because there's no financial literacy counseling going on when these guys said, you talking about cats, man, coming from the hood, 18, 19 years old, signing $200 million deals. What do they know about that, man? Here come these slimy little accountants and all that sliding in with lawyers saying, hey, we can help you with your investments, your money. I mean, the stories are endless about athletes and entertainers talking about how accountants were stealing money from them and they didn't know about it. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. He said, man, if you got something of benefit, he will tolerate and be around us. And you thinking, oh, it's all good, man. White boys is cool, man. Brother heathen, the Chinese, violence, it's all good. No, it ain't all good. He said if he can make you better, he's not gonna be sorry for it, man. So after they done, and that couple of years is up, and then votes is up, and they get the Democrats staying in there in the office, man, they're gonna boot their butts right back to their lands and say thanks for everything. You helped build up infrastructure again in America. You got America, quote unquote, great again. Now go back home. You helped us build back better. Now get on out of here and go back to the third world slums. So let's finish this up. To work in the United States for 2 years, provided they did not travel to the border with Mexico first. Now the detractors were progressives, advocates, activists, legislators who usually side with the White House on policy matters. So, Slow Biden got a few people upset because they see he's trying to get slick. He's trying to get slick. Let's continue. I said this last month. Matter of fact, it's DSTM that's titled, Biden is going after anti-Semites. Now he's established a task force. And you know who that's geared towards. You know who that's geared towards. You think they're concentrating on, skinheads and the right wingers? Is anybody really concerned about that, man? Them dudes is in the backwoods in West Virginia and Alabama and the woods of Michigan somewhere, sharpening up they knives and shooting in the woods and drinking beers and hanging out and doing them what do you call them, rave parties and all that. They ain't tripping off of them. The biggest voices that are coming out and exposing the GMO small hat communities are the Israelites. See, all it took was the voice of one so-called Negro, yay, and now everything is turned upside down. And the focus then gets turned over to, Kyrie. From Kyrie, now it's turning over to the Israelites. And of course, this is the one time that we're seeing, not the one time, but there's been a number of different times throughout the histories of at least my history in Israel, that all the camps, congregation, whatever, will come together for a particular cause, regardless of doctrinal differences, regardless of whatever the case may be. We're all talking the same thing. One thing we do agree on: them ain't the people. One thing we can agree on: that's our land. One thing we can agree on: prophetically, they got to get booted up out of there. They're gonna be licking the boots and bowing down. Revelation 2:9, 3:9, all the prophecies. One thing we can agree on is the history of them being converts. So we'll come out in lockstep with each other and say, yeah, that's one thing we're not going to disagree on. So what do? Small hat community say, slow Biden, get him up off of us. Too many truths is being told. We're being exposed. We need you to combat this through governmental efforts. So what does that mean? There's going to be more crackdowns, more surveillance, more bots searching for speech that goes against particular narratives. They're going to be shutting down accounts. They're going to be suspending people, bans. People are going to be getting arrested, fined. I mean, who's more public with it? Who's on the highways and the byways? From street corners to sports establishments out in the front, on the front lines, speaking truth, as they're calling it, anti-Semitism, for telling the truth. Who's got multiple social media accounts exposing and showing videos of them being embarrassed, trying to combat or talk to Israelites on scholarly and scriptural terms and getting lost in the sauce and taking major L's, and they're saying we got to stop this. So this is another reason why you got to be focused and understand who your real enemy is. This is open. They pretty much are declaring war with our community and acknowledging, saying we've got the government behind us, and the government is going to be tracking you down the more that you speak out against us. President Slow Biden, President Biden, I'll be nice, will establish a task force to coordinate government efforts to address anti Semitism and other forms of religious bigotry. A task force. And other forms of religious bigotry. I wonder if they're going to defend us. You know, are they going to defend us and our right to freedom of speech and right to assemble and religious freedom? You know, are they gonna protect us from the Christian apologetic community that constantly calls us liars and saying that we're not the people that we claim we are, the ones that come against us for keeping the Torah and saying that we don't have to keep that, and you're lying by telling the people that they need. Are they going to protect us from that religious bigotry? Huh? Take a guess. The White House said Monday, in the wake of a rise in anti-Semitic rhetoric from high-profile public figures. Did you hear that? The White House said Monday, in the wake of a rise of anti-Semitic rhetoric from high-profile public figures. You know who they're talking about. Biden is creating an interagency group led by the staff of the Domestic Policy Council and the National Security Council. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said in a statement. There she goes. The group's first order of business will be to formulate a national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. So a national strategy. So they're going nationwide to create a whole task force of regulation of how to handle those that don't agree with or have valid arguments against uh, that other community. This strategy will raise understanding about anti Semitism and the threat it possesses to the Jewish community and all Americans, address anti Semitic harassment and abuse both online and offline, seek to prevent anti Semitic attacks and incidents, and encourage whole of society efforts to counter anti Semitism and build a more inclusive nation. Jean Pierre said, well, isn't that nice? We know really what's going on. It's very interesting. You know what? Very interesting how those things play out. Very interesting, right? The GMO small hat community, because of the pressures that they got from quote unquote high profile celebrities, you know who they are. And then you've got a whole community of thousands of brothers and sisters, well equipped with history, anthropology, knowledge of the scriptures and the Torah to back up the facts in less than 30 days. I mean, they've been catching it for a while now, but there was never a cause to jump out and say, here in America, we got to address this. We've never went and bombed no synagogues. We've never lit anything on fire. There's been no attacks on them from us, even though Jonathan Greenblatt lied on national radio national syndicated radio, Power 105, and they never retracted it. Power 105 never verified the story and said, we want to apologize for the comments that Jonathan Greenblatt made and said that the works of a white man that shot a Jewish man and his son with paintballs or whatever it was, and it was said in context that this was the works of the Black Hebrew Israelite. We want to apologize to the so-called Black Hebrew Israelite community for those statements. They were false. Did we ever get that? Did Charlemagne the God, did he ever come out? Did DJ Envy, did they ever come out and say, oops, that was said on our airways, man. They attacked our people. They said something that was wrong against the so-called Black community and blamed us for a hate crime that they didn't commit, man. We got to make that right. Did they do that? No. I wonder why. Did Jonathan Greenblatt come out and say, oops, sorry, I gave misinformation. Now that the facts came out, we do realize that that was actually the works of a so-called white man. Maybe we need to go ahead. I need to retract that. No, they don't do that. But slow Biden comes into office, man. Anti-hate, anti-Asian hate bill gets signed immediately. Anti-Semitism task force gets signed into law immediately. Look at this. Senate passes anti-lynching bill and sends federal hate crime legislation to Biden. When did they just do this? March 8th, 2022. How long has this been going on in our community? How long has our community experienced this? March 8th, 2022 is when they finally decided that they needed to go ahead on and forward this, right? But that's not it. Look. The Senate unanimously passed a bill on Monday that criminalizes lynching and make it punishable by up to 30 years in prison. It sailed through the House of Representatives last month, and President Biden is expected to sign it. While it eased through both chambers of Congress this time with virtually no opposition, the passage took more than 100 years and 200 failed attempts. And our people are sitting up here in these churches and sitting around here talking about how there's no white privilege, Black people aren't being oppressed, everybody got an opportunity. If you work hard and you believe, you can succeed, and all this other BS. And you trying to tell me that it took you over 100 years to sign a bill to stop lynching our people? Are you kidding me? And 200 failed attempts, 200 times they said, no, we want to still lynch you niggas without repercussions. 200 times they said, nope, that's off the table. But as soon as we say, hey, you're not the real people, and we can prove it, here, come, let's sit down, let's talk, let's open up the books. Hey, matter of fact, how come your Talmud and through the Mishnah, you're talking about how Black people are evil or ugly? Can we talk about that? Oh, no, you don't want to talk about that. Leave us alone. Hey, can we talk about the Black people that were persecuted and killed during the Holocaust? Oh, that's anti-Semitism. You're trying to take away from the plight that happened to the Jews. You're trying to make it about you. What are you doing? We can't share our oppression. We can't share our histories of being killed and lynched and murdered through that same Holocaust that you know have experienced. We can't talk about us being part of that too. No, can't do it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Took more than 100 years, man. 200 failed attempt. They finally put it to the test and put it out there, man, for slow Biden to sign. This is how you know, man. This place ain't for us. This place is not for us. Nigga Micah 2. Micah 2 in the 10th verse. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction." This is why you got to get up out of the mind frame of America. This is why you can't invest your spirit, invest your time into trying to help build up and establish this place. It's full of pure evil and wickedness, man. It's polluted. You can see it just that alone. That the pollution of this place, man, the great whore, full of sodomy, full of fornication, adultery, wickedness, evil, the whole nine, manifests itself up out of this place. And the Lord said, the more that you invest in it, the more that you desire to be a part of it, the more that you think that this is actually going to change your life and you're going to be better for it, the Lord says it's going to destroy you. Unfortunately, all of them brothers and sisters, man, that's trying to immigrate over here because they want a better life. They think that the land of milk and honey is right here, and that they're going to experience all manners of heaven. As soon as they cross that border, the Lord says it's going to destroy you, even with the sword destruction, because they don't know the inner workings of the beast, man. That's why in Revelation 17 to tell you that the great whore, man, arrays herself in pearls and costly array and purple and gold. On the outside, it looks good, but inside, man, is rotten to the core. Rotten to the core. Let's continue. So not only are they saying this, they're establishing a task force to combat anti-Semitism, but look at this. The FBI reveals that it uses CIA and NSA to spy on Americans. Well, tell us something that we don't know. Is this really a revealing? Is this really a revelation? Or is this confirmation of what the so-called conspiracy theorists have been saying for years now? Years now. I forgot the head of the FBI. He said it years ago. I remember bringing this out in the current event years ago. He was talking about how they were spying on us, and he puts tape over his cameras. The FBI, head of the FBI said that. And I started doing, I said, well, if he's the head saying, this is what I'm doing, because I know they're doing it. I said, well, thanks for the advice, Esau. I'm going to do that too. Now, I've been covering my cameras and phones and all that for since then. I'm talking 2000, and I'm sure I was late. At least 2015, 16 maybe, at the latest. Now they want to come out and reveal, oh, we're using the CIA and NSA to spy. Well, that was the whole Snowden. What's the guy named Snowden? Edward Snowden. That was his whole scandal. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a good movie. Go check that one out. Snowden. And he breaks down the whole damn architecture of the spy grid. It's called Prism. And they've got all of the damn social media and media company and everything else locked in on the phones. That's why everything asks for your permission. All these apps, when you get a phone, it already comes with damn near 30 apps on the phone. And you saying, I didn't ask for all of these apps. Why are they already on here? And they're already authorized with permissions to access your contacts, your camera, your microphone, and the whole nine. You got to go in there and disable some of them. Some of them you can't even disable. You ever wonder why? Even though you turn off your location and everything else, and next thing you know, you've got a emergency alert on your phone, an Amber Alert. Somebody missed some little girl that got picked up, and somebody. How does that happen? Did any of you notice back in 2020 when they put on the DIV COD, DIV COD? Follow me. Uh, Alerts on your phones that was saying if you'll be alerted if you came close in contact with somebody who's been exposed or something, and you had to manually go through your Google settings and Google services and all that and turn it off. And you wonder, well, how did this get on my phone? How did they put that on here? I didn't ask for this notification. I didn't ask for this to be activated. And if you remember back then, 2019, 2020, there was outages on everybody's phones at certain times. T-Mobile went down, Verizon went down. Next thing you know, it pops back up. And everybody's got a new app on their phone talking about how you can be alerted if you're in close contact and proximity with somebody who's been exposed. So now it's no wonder why your subscriptions is getting tampered with. Your notifications ain't working. Bots is jumping back and forth, man, turning off our damn notification. I mean, canceling channels and all of that. I mean, it's kind of obvious. So this is part of the arm that's going to be used to help carry out this task force, I'm sure. So the FBI revealed how the Bureau uses the CIA and National Security Agency to probe the private lives of Americans without a warrant in its updated rule book, which is the first version made public since the Obama administration. So welcome to 1984. Big Brother's watching. They just figure, okay, we'll just come out with it and say it. What are they going to do? I mean, what can you do? You got money to sue? You're gonna get organize some lawyers that's gonna pop up and talk about your First Amendment's being violated. They know they are. They're gonna run you through the mill with years and years of litigation and thousands of millions of dollars trying to sue the damn government and tell them stop spying, and they're not gonna do it anyway. We're trapped. This is why Obama phones was put out for they want phones in everybody's hands. All you got to be is low income, on the county, whatever, free phone in your hands, already equipped with spyware and the whole nine. They drop the phones off in third world countries. Everybody got a damn phone. And they setting up microwave towers from here to Africa. The handbook, rewritten in 2021, confirms a decade old, showcasing the Bureau's collaboration with the CIA and NSA for FBI probes that may involve surveillance without court orders against people not accused of any crimes. Not accused of any crimes, but they still probing. Such probes are known as, quote, assessments at the FBI. See, that's why even within the Israelite community, we can say, I didn't commit no crime. I ain't do nothing. Have we ever did this? Have we ever did that? They don't give a damn. They're taking and looking at us as assessments and creating files. Too late, Allah died. Too late. The revelations will fuel critics who have long accused the FBI of abusing its national security surveillance powers. All right, I'm going to move on. We talked about this earlier. We see what's going on. U.S. will hit its debt limit Thursday. Start taking steps to avoid default. Yellen warns of Congress. So as they talking about how slow Biden entered in a favorable year, everything was looking good. The debt limit is about to hit on Thursday. But what does this mean? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen notified Congress that the U.S. will reach its statutory debt limit next Thursday, and asked House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to either suspend or increase the debt limit. So imagine this. As they talk about how, black folks and Hispanics, man, don't know economics and can't balance their checkbook or whatever the case may be, and we're constantly in debt. Well, where do we learn it from? I mean, America is the biggest debtor nation in the world. What's the national debt clock at right now? Since we're talking about it. Where are we at? Look at that. $31 trillion in debt. $31 trillion in debt. So America has reached its debt limit. It's like you maxed out your credit card. You understand? And you got no other assurances of how to get more money. And they're saying that you either have to cut the credit card up and start paying back your debts or increase your debt limit. So what do you do? Oh, let me call MasterCard. Let me call Visa. Let me go ahead and ask them for a debt limit increase. Let me see if they'll give me more ways to sink my ship. So she tells the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, you either got to suspend your debts and cut off spending, or you're going to have to increase the debt limit. So what's that going to mean for the economy? That means, Federal Reserve, we need another loan. Print up some more money. Which means inflation is going to get affected. That means the value of the dollar is going down. That means that prices is going to continually skyrocket. Let's continue. Yellen wrote that the Treasury Department will begin, quote, taking certain extraordinary measures to prevent the United States from defaulting on its obligations. She told McCarthy it is unlikely that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted by before early June. Failure to meet the government's obligations would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy. Let me read that again. So if they don't have a correction in place by next Thursday, it says this would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy, the livelihoods of all Americans, and global financial stability. So they're going to be on their P's and Q's and trying to get this thing under wraps. But I'm pretty sure whatever methods that they do is only going to make it worse. So stay tuned on the economic front. Be prepared. Look at this. USPS is closing 50 post offices effective immediately. But I thought everything was going to upswing with slow Biden. They're getting ready to close 50 post offices. The agency is now closing 50 more post offices. 50 more. I didn't even know they had previous ones. All of the impacted offices in Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota have since reopened, but customers elsewhere are now experiencing issues. The latest update to the USPS Service Alerts website indicates that the agency just temporarily shuttered a large number of facilities affecting 2 new states, Nevada and California. A total of 50 post offices were closed on January 9th and 10th, but one state is bearing the brunt of it. Nevada is facing just one closure. The Postal Service shuttered the Meyer Snow Post Office in South Lake Tahoe, Nevada on January 9th, but the other 49 closures are in California. The temporary shuttered facilities in the state include the Lakeshore Post Office, Topanga, Olema, Canyon, and Soquel Post Office. So, the post office is shutting down in good old America. I thought everything was great. The debt ceiling's been reached. They got until next Thursday to make a correction or all hell's going to break loose. Post offices are closing down. 96% of workers are looking for a new job in 2023. What to know before you job hop. People are scrambling around now trying to find different means to get more income because they're realizing that what they're making, if they continue on that path, they will not survive 2023 and beyond. Let's look at this. A whopping 96%. You know what? Yeah, it's okay. A whopping 96% of workers are looking for a new position in 2023, largely in search of better pay, according to a recent report by Monster.com. Job hopping is widely considered the best way to give your salary a boost, but there are other considerations that matter too, experts say, such as a healthy work-life balance. So, 96% of people are already out there looking for new jobs. It will soon be the year of the rabbit, according to the Chinese calendar, but it might as well be the year of the new job. A whopping 96% of workers are looking for a new position in 2023, largely in search of better pay, according to recent job sites Monster.com. So, people are looking for more money, better paying jobs so that they can survive and avoid having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make it in this economy. This is phenomenally high, even compared with the numbers at the height of the Great Resignation, said Vicky Salimi, a career expert at Monster. Nearly half, or 40% of job seekers, said they need a higher income due to inflation and rising expenses, Monster found. Others said that they have no room to grow in their current role and that they are in a toxic workplace. So, we see what's going on. Things ain't looking good. People are scrambling around trying to survive. People are understanding and knowing that the future is bleak. 2023 is coming in with a bang. And we said this last year. To buckle up. Because it's going to get bumpy. All right. Let's continue. Look at this. Swiss National Bank reports $143 billion loss. Its largest ever. Ever. $143 billion the Swiss bank loss. Remember, that's when, you hear the movies and all that, people talking about they got offshore Swiss bank accounts where they hiding their money. Not no more. The Swiss National Bank said Monday it's anticipating a $143 billion loss for 2022, the steepest loss in the bank's 116-year history. The bank said that this is only a provisional calculation for the 2022 performance. Though it took a hit last year, the bank said it was expecting a $4.5 billion profit from its gold holdings. Oh, so where's the value at? Where's the profit coming from? Precious metals, huh? Interesting. I'm not going to speak on that. You read between the lines. Its positions in gold could be supported during the new year, according to a research note from Denmark Saxo Bank. Analysts said their analysts there said precious metals in general are in vogue. Gold's newfound resilience and momentum from December has been carried over to January as investors seek shelter from what has been a forecast to be another challenging year, especially for those with exposure to equities. So either they're losing money through real estate, people withdrawing their money, taking their monies out the banks, defaulting on loans, credit cards, whatever the case may be. They taking a big hit, right? And they're saying that the one thing that they were going to profit from was their holdings in gold. Take note of that. Take note of that. Disaster: 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit Indonesia on the 10th. All right, 4 days. What is it? Yeah, 4 days ago. Indonesia constantly getting hit. There wasn't no real major deaths or anything like that, but just the fact that the earth is still rattling and rolling. 7.6 is nothing to snooze at. That's a heavy, heavy earthquake. Magnitude should have been worse as far as the death toll is concerned. The aftershocks, it says, were 5.5. If you ain't never felt no earthquake, believe me, 7.6 will wake you up out the bed, man. Forcibly, you getting rocked up out of there. So, that's something to consider. All right. Mass storm outages bring misery across California, exposing the power grid's vulnerabilities. We talked about this ad nauseum regarding preparations and understanding. It can happen to anyone at any particular point in time. Just so happens, it was California's turn. Northern California got hit with these with the massive storms last week. It's still, matter of fact, it's raining right now. It's supposed to rain throughout this weekend. I think it's supposed to stop on Monday. In all reality, it's welcome rain. We've been in a drought so bad for so many years, man. This rain is needed. So I'm not tripping. So long as it don't get too crazy and knock out our power. But even still, Lord willing, I'll be prepared to take care of that. But nonetheless, people up north have been out of power for 4 days. Look at this. David Higares was on his fourth day without power in his Murata home in San Joaquin County when he woke up to indoor temperatures barely above 50 degrees. I know some of y'all in the Midwest and on the East Coast, you out there, 50 degrees, that's warm. Not for us. Not for us, man. 50 degrees is cold. All right. So he's in the house, 50 degrees, man. Can't get no heat on. There's no power. The gas is out. He's not. You got to figure it out. It said his lights had flickered twice since the neighborhood outside Stockton went dark Saturday, following one of the train of atmospheric river storms. But his home remained dark. He said each time he checked, it seemed Pacific Gas and Electric had again pushed back the estimate for restoring power. It feels endless at this point. Who lost all the food in his refrigerator and freezer due to spoilage? Basically, we're camping indoors. Do you understand? So this is what's going on up north. So 4 days now, food's gone, no heat, no power. He said they basically camping indoors. Start making your preparations, brothers and sisters. Continue on. All right. At least 9 are killed by 30 tornadoes up to 165 miles per hour that ripped apart Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky, including a boy 5 struck by a tree, and more are on the way. So here we are again, seeing the tempests and the storms of the Most High ravaging America. You understand? Give me. Hold on 1 second. Oh, never mind. Let me pop this back up. So, 30 tornadoes, 165 miles an hour, ripping apart Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky. Boy got hit by a tree. You got massive storms going on in California, earthquakes in Indonesia, flooding in California. You understand what I'm saying? I think they said in Serbia, it's negative 80 degrees over there. Negative 80. Before I even be misquoted on that, let me make sure. No, I'm not give y'all nothing false. Oh, oh. Serbia sees coldest air in 2 decades. Look at that. Can you imagine? Serbia sees coldest air in 2 decades as temperature dips to minus 80 degrees. This is the global map. All this is very cold up north above Canada's moving all the way up into Eurasia. All this is cold. Below us, it's their summertime. Everything is reversed. So imagine. Can you imagine being in negative 80 degrees, man? So we see the destruction of the Lord, man, is wreaking havoc all over. Everywhere it's getting it right now. Okay. 7 people died during the storms on Thursday. 2 in Georgia, including a 5-year-old boy, when a car he was in got hit by a falling tree. The death toll could rise. Kay Ivey, the governor of Alabama, visited the historic town of Selma on Friday and said she was shocked at the scale of the devastation. She said it was far worse than anything I had envisioned. She added, roofs are just gone. Trees look like toothpicks. At least 33,400 homes and businesses in Alabama and Georgia remained without power on Friday afternoon. Kentucky was also hit hard by the storms. So it's going down. It's going down. All right. The storms of the Lord is really waking people up. Let's update this. Let's update on this, man. We talked about the Bruce family here in Manhattan Beach in California. Black family, man, owned 2 lots on a exclusive beach in California, over in I believe it's Manhattan Beach. Uh, Richie area, high expensive area. They own 2 lots over there. Took them 100 years to fight to get it back after they were forced to sell their land, experienced oppression and racism and whatnot. Man, the family finally got it back, right? They got the land back in the summer of 2022. Less than 6 months later, they sold it right back to LA County. Many people we saying, man, what the hell? You went through all of that just to give it right back? But peep how the so-called white man does it though. They really had no choice. Before we go there, the white man is so slick, man. So slick. Um, Let me see. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so look. Southern California beachfront property that was taken from a black couple throughout eminent domain. Eminent domain, you can look that up and find out what that means. A century ago and returned to their heirs last year. A century, that's 100 years. They finally gave it back to the family. Last year will be sold back to Los Angeles County for nearly 20 million, officials said Tuesday. The heirs' decision to sell what was once known as Bruce's Beach, a portion of what is now Manhattan Beach, was announced by Janice Hahn, chair of the County Board of Supervisors, and State Senator Stephen Bradford, who led local and state government efforts to undo injustice. This fight has always been about what was best for the Bruce family. Really? Okay. And they feel what is best for them is selling the property back to the county for nearly $20 million and finally rebuilding the generational wealth they were denied for nearly a century, Hahn said in a written statement. Isn't that nice? So-called white woman says we finally want to do what's right for the family, and we're going to give them generational wealth. Now, they all say that, some people were saying that that's a low ball. I don't know. I'm not in real estate, but they said that the land, that between the 2 lots that they had, it was worth about between 20 and 21 million dollars. Now we're talking about, I thought it was a lot greater portion of land, but we're talking about like 7,600 square feet, something like that. So imagine that's pretty much like a big mansion that you put on a plot of land, 7,600 square foot house, maybe something like that, right? So 21 million, between 20 and 21 million dollars they gave it to him, right? Now they said this is what reparations look like, and it is a model that I hope governments across the country will follow. This is not what reparations look like at all. Because when you selling it back to LA County, who's paying for that? Does LA County, is LA County got its own funding? Does LA County run on its own operation? Does LA County have a bank that they are actually deviling up the money for? Or is this taxpayers? That's what I'm wondering. If the county is paying for it, that means it's coming through taxpayer funds. So it's not really coming out the pockets of the so-called white man. He's not emptying out his pockets to get this money to these so-called black families. We essentially are going to pay for it. Watch when they increase taxes and all that to pay off this debt. LA County, they sold it to. It's not like they sold it back or they got it back from a private owner, a realtor, or whatever the case may be. No, the county is paying this back. That's not reparations when you're getting it back from the same people you stole it from. That's the slickness of the white man. And the reason why they couldn't do nothing with the land is because they put zoning laws in where they couldn't develop and couldn't do nothing with it. So they took the land from them, then instituted some zoning laws and all this other madness, and then sat back and said, well, you can't develop, you can't do nothing with it. Why don't you just sell it back to us? And we'll make the county pay for it. That is the slickness. And this is why the so-called white man is a damn devil, man. Isaiah 10, 1 and 2. And then they sit back and throw it out there as if this is reparations. This is a good thing. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So because of eminent domain, because of them forcing them up out of there, selling their land, running them out of there, being racist against them, where they was trying to make it an oasis for black people to come on vacation and hang out and have a spot of their own. White man came in, stole it, robbed it, kicked them up out of there, and then they made them fight 100 years to get it back. And then when they said, well, you got the land back, but there's nothing you can do with it. Right now, they're using it for lifeguard training in fire departments or something like that is on the plot, and they got zoning laws in place where you can't build or develop nothing. So they said, here, take this money from the county, man, and y'all go off and go have a nice day. And the county pays for it. Well, that means the people pay for it. So did he really pay for his sins? Did he really pay, or did he make somebody else pay for it? And then sit back and exalted himself as a hero, saying, look, we finally did justice. We did the right thing. What? Woe unto him that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless man. This is exactly what they did. And they trying to cloak it in a manner of if they did something good. Unbelievable. And just in case, black folks, man, y'all love to stick your nose up white zaddy's crack sometimes, man. We want to praise him all the time, thinking that he's doing some good stuff. Look, Jeremiah 15:11. The Most High Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause thy enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So when we're in the times of evil and affliction, the Lord said he's going to cause our enemies to submit and help us get through sometimes. I've shared experiences, and me and the other Elder Shive was talking about times that he was going through a particular issue, man. And the only people that was there to help was some Edomites. And he's sitting back like, why the hell are they helping me? Like, I've been in that position. Stranded on the road, car broke down. Jake riding right past. The only ones that pull up, Esau. You need help? You okay? You need a phone? You got AAA? Here, let me call. No, I'm good. Thank you. But gets in the minds of our people saying, hey, you guys need to ease up off of, man. All of them ain't bad. No, this is the Lord that says he'll give them favor to do this. So even when you see something like this with the Bruce Beach situation, they've been treated well, but guess what? The so-called white man is so slick, he wrote grievousness with laws to make it look like he's making amends when he's not really doing it. LA County is taxpayer funded, taxpayer funded. They not breaking no personal bank accounts open, collecting their funds, saying, here, we're going to take a loss in our accounts to make sure that things are right with you so-called black folks. Give me a break. Don't get seduced by that. Look at this. And Haggai. Let's read Haggai chapter 2. No, not Haggai. I'm sorry. Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2. And we'll start at when we'll read down. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set upon thee the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I'm reproved. And the Most High Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth this. So the Lord said, everything that we receive is going to be written through the visions, plain upon tables. And once we get it, we got to run and spread the word. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. So appointed, meaning a prophetic time, is going to happen through this vision. But at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. So all end time prophecies that we're seeing, people wonder, when's the last day? When are we going to have? The Lord said, just wait for it. It's going to come. It's not going to tarry. Everything is based upon its appointed time. Verse 4, behold, his soul shall be lifted up. His soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell. This is so-called white man. He's proud. He transgresseth by the wine, meaning what? The scriptures even say he sold a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine. He's stolen and coveted fields. Right? Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. Everything that he's enlarged, man, has created more hell for the nations, especially for Israel. It's his heaven, our hell. Reading on, it says, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So who does that? Who's telling all nations, come here? Where's the great melting pot at? Didn't we read about it? We've read about it in Revelation 17, 18, 16, talking about the great whore, 14, Babylon, where all nations come to drink of the wine of the wrath of the fornication. Heapeth unto him all people. The great melting pot, the great whore, where everybody comes in and tries to be merry. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? Well, hasn't he colonized and taken over lands and all over the world? America's the only place that's got military bases and diplomatic offices all throughout the world. You understand? This is the place where all nations come and want answers for and need diplomatic solutions to their problems. Economically, they want to come to make sure America takes care of them. Got their hands out, want America to send them money here, save us over here, send us medicine there. But it said all the nations are going to come up against him, taunting him, saying, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So he covers himself with protection. You know, he lines himself up with a vast military. It says that he's over here taking things that's not his. Well, how did he acquire America, South Central America? The colonization, the destruction of the indigenous peoples, false peace treaties, and the whole nine. We've gone over that ad nauseum. Reading on, it says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Meaning treasures. They're going to, they talking about rising, people are going to rise up against him. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and the city, and of all that dwell therein. So he's got hell to pay for all of the destruction that he's done and the blood that he shed, right? Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, and that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Well, who else is trying to set their nets on high? From the launching of satellites to trying to send robots out there to try to see if they can have another inhabitable place, constantly looking to see if they can find a second earth to dwell in. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. So he's coveted this whole landmass to add more evil. Thou hast thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. So how many people did he swindle out of land? How many lands did he take by force? How many people did he cut off through lynching, hangings, and burnings and false documentation? Just like they did with the Bruce family, telling them that they couldn't build or develop on the land because of zoning laws. Verse 11, for the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Well, who did that? See, judgment is going to happen to the so-called white man, but because he can go out there and do stuff like this, when you tell it to our people, what do you mean? Man, them people got $20 million, man. They looked out for them. That was a good move, blah, 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 blah. But don't look behind the understanding behind how the so-called white man operates. How did he seize this land? Why is he making it try to seem like he gave back some good when he really didn't? The people won back the land, but it's basically like, man, you got it, but what can you do with it? We've already enacted zoning laws that you can't do anything about it. So they had no choice but to sell it back. And then they said, well, we'll sell it back, but we're going to make the people pay for it. Look at this. Job 20:10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. So this is another reason why you see the so-called white man. He's going to have to make amends. That's why he goes in, well, we'll give the niggas affirmative action, or we'll go ahead and try to give them concessions so that they can have ownership in teams now, or we'll make sure that we'll give Dr. Dre $200 million for his music catalog when we know damn well that they're going to capitalize. If he can make 200, they probably stand to make $1 billion. And pretty much is taking away the creative rights of the people, the talents of Israel, and say, this is ours now. We own this. So they ain't doing none of this stuff, man. This is the white man does it, but he cloaks it as if he's doing good. Let's continue on. Now, I'm not gonna say too much on this, but y'all can see. I got to be careful. So you see these organizations. There's an investigation underway to see about what's going on with this. And these health complications that's been happening with many of people. I did a DSTM at least a week or two ago, questioning why was happening with all the heart issues. Remember last week I talked about Al Roker, and we were trying to connect. Did Al Roker follow protocol? Yes, he did. Was Al Roker having blood clots and issues? Yes, he was. Remember the article they were saying, oh, there's no connection. There's no connection. And now all of a sudden they're saying, actually, we're going to investigate what's going on. This is happening a little too often. It's becoming a little too obvious. So I gave y'all enough time to read the headlines. You see what's up. Let's continue. Oh, Lisa Marie. What happened to her? I know y'all heard about it. Michael Jackson's former wife, Elvis' daughter, the only child of Elvis, and Priscilla Presley died Thursday, 54. Her agent said in a statement to Insider. TMZ reported Presley went into cardiac arrest. Oh, how tragic. At her home in Calabasas. Imagine that. Cardiac arrest. What a shame. Y'all ever seen these sisters? Diamond and Silk. These two was Trump's right hand coons. They was outspoken. They got to sit next to him, man. You know, they love white zaddy Trump. They were trying to make America great again. They had their little social media accounts jumping off, going crazy, right? Well, one of them recently just passed away as well. Diamond, this sister right here, she's Diamond. The other one's Silk. You know, they got the lace fronts jumping off. All they need is some Negro women to go out there and act a damn fool, right? They was big during the Trump campaign. I'm trying to see. I'm pretty sure that I heard she had a little issue too. I thought this was the one. Well, nonetheless, if y'all interested, you can find out what happened to her, right? How she passed. So Lisa Marie, Diamond of the Diamond and Silk duo. What about this? Well, here's just a conglomerate of articles within the last week. Rugby player dies suddenly at age 18. Brilliant young man with an infectious attitude. Wonder what happened to him. TikToker Waffler69, best known for his adventurous food content, died suddenly at age 33. Oh, what happened? Clayton posted a video on Thursday saying his brother had died at 10 p.m. the night before after what he called a, quote, presumed heart attack. Wow. Woman calls on community for help after friend dies suddenly of cardiac arrest. Oh. Air Force Academy cadet dies suddenly while walking to class. What is going on? The phenomenon is crazy. I wonder if it's connected. What do y'all think? As they say, as the YouTubers say, comment below. Comment below what you think is going on. What possibly could be happening here? Is this coincidence? Is it from the food? You know, is it the weather? Is it the new? Maybe it's hereditary. I mean, what do y'all think is going on? Comment below. Comment below. Something ain't right. Would y'all agree? Would y'all agree? So DSTM 176 in the raps, right? Yeah, they definitely dropping like flies. There was somebody else too. Evil Knievel's son, but it wasn't hard as he had pancreatic cancer. So, but nonetheless, I mean, you know, they definitely hitting the dirt. Evil Knievel's son died, but he had cancer, so his was expected. They said, but nonetheless, these other ones very interesting. I wonder why. Well, I'm going to wait for the investigation, you know, from the CDC and the FDA. Let's see what they come up with. Maybe we'll just listen to it though. We'll listen to what they say. You know, they know best, right? They know best, don't they? Here, let me share something else with y'all. Check this out.
Or poached egg on avocado toast.
Ew.
Your flash fried porgy over chips.
Ew.
Your fresh main lobster with microgreens.
When the only thing your 8-year-old will eat is waffles.
Can you imagine how people eating that?
She's fine. She's fine.
Your waffles, milady.
It matters where you stay.
That's more like it.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hampton by Hilton.
At least they gave a good
Hilton
reaction
for
to
the
it,
stay.
Abomination.
Has come just a week before the third anniversary.
Well, people we spoke with say they were happy that something is being done.
Has come just a week before
Watch
the
this.
third anniversary.
Well, people we spoke with say they were happy that something is being done, but this is something that they've been asking for since day one. So for them, this is about 1,000 days too late. Now, Nariman, looking at after the day, families are pushing the feds to.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Nariman,
What's the matter, honey?
I'm not feeling very well right now, and I'm about to.
Okay, we'll come back to me right now, and we'll make sure that Jessica, you are doing.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
That Jessica, you are doing okay.
Woo. She's zoned out. What do y'all think happened to her? What happened to her? Very interesting. That ain't the first time we've seen them bug out, is it? That ain't the first time we've seen them bug out on what was this one? I had another video. Damn it. That ain't the first time we've seen some newscasters bug out on screen, is it? I had one other one. Hold on. And this one was ridiculous, man. You want to talk about no words for this? Let me see if this is. Oh, see, I see what happened. They took it down. They took it down. Ain't that something? Shalom, Ashar, Yahweh Shem, Ashar, Barakatah. Good brother. Man, let me see if I can. I don't know if y'all seen this, but it was a video of this brother, man, and I end up finding out it was Tony Atlas, a former wrestler, getting beat on and stomped on by his white wife, all to say Happy New Year. All to say Happy New Year. Did they got it? See, I want to see it without no damn commentary and other stuff. Yeah, see, a lot of people, man, they got commentaries and stuff on it. Oh, here go one. Yeah, here it go. Check this out, y'all. Check this out. You want to talk about some unreal cooning? You ain't seen nothing yet, man. Peep this. That's Tony Atlas, man. He used to be a weightlifter, wrestler, and all this other stuff, man. With his old hag as a... Good Lord. Let me just play it. Y'all see.
Happy New Year.
Y'all might have to see this again. It's real.
Happy New Year.
And got his meth head looking wife pounding him out, stomping on him, all to say Happy New Year. This is why we got to get our people from following after these Folly Day traditions, these pagan customs, because here they are. He's allowing himself to be abused by a meth head looking damn white woman. You talk about Stockholm Syndrome to the 10th power. Allowing this white woman to abuse him in the name of saying Happy New Year. And it's some little fetish that he's got that he liked getting beat by his white woman. It's unbelievable. Now you see why we got to go so hard, man, to wake our people up, man, get them up out of this folly, man. And our people sitting back talking about what's wrong with New Year's. I mean, if you can tell him, man, what's wrong with you getting beat up every damn minute for your by your woman because you got some fetish going on. I mean, I just thought that was unbelievable, man, and ridiculous. But this is what our people is into, man. Man, you know the meth done took them things up out of there, man. I doubt it. I doubt it. She ain't look like it, man. She ain't look like it. But it was ridiculous. Ridiculous nonetheless, man. That's it for your brother, man. IQAhmath, IQAhmath, first name, IQ, it's all the same, man. All praises. Honor and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, man. The water for tuning in to episode 176, DSTM. Don't shoot your messenger. Don't do that. You'll be making a grave error. Grave error. All right. So, in closing, make sure that you wipe your feet on your way out. If you didn't on your way in, hit that like button, man. Lord willing, I'll be able to put the other links in there, man, for the other channels, man. I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe over there as well because you know, both my channel and the DST, I mean the MOTC channel, man, is on their last legs, man. They got the crosshairs on us. They trying to get rid of us. So you know, we're trying to avoid being blanked off of the YouTube sphere. So stay tuned for that, man. Lord willing, we'll be back in a 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, closing out the Sabbath with a closing Sabbath class with Elder Rasha. Just tune in for that, man. Until then, y'all be blessed, be well, take care, shalom.